What if I told you that some of the most important things you do every single day happen without you even realizing it? No, we're not talking about blinking or breathing. We're talking about the strange little behaviors your brain quietly controls in the background. Habits that reveal your emotions, your confidence, your fears, and even what you're thinking before you say a single word. The weird part? Almost everyone does these things, but almost nobody notices them in themselves. By the end of this video, you might start looking at yourself very differently, and maybe even understand the people around you a little better. Let's begin. Have you ever unlocked your phone for absolutely no reason? You check it, lock it, and then just a few seconds later, unlock it again. You weren't expecting a message. You didn't need to use an app. Your brain simply wanted a tiny reward. Psychologists often explain this through the brain's reward system. Every time we expect something interesting, a notification, a message, or even a funny video, our brain becomes curious. Eventually, the habit becomes automatic. That's why many people touch their phones hundreds of times a day without even noticing. Now here's another one. Have you ever walked into a room and suddenly forgotten why you went there? You stand there thinking, wait, what was I supposed to do? Most people blame their memory, but there's actually something fascinating happening. Your brain treats doorways as mental boundaries. When you enter a new space, your brain starts focusing on the new environment and quietly pushes the previous task into the background. That's why walking back to the previous room often helps you remember. Strange, but surprisingly common. Now think about this. Have you ever smiled, even when you weren't happy? Maybe someone looked at you. Maybe you were talking to a customer. Maybe you just didn't want anyone asking, "Are you okay?" Many of us wear emotional masks without realizing it. We're taught from a young age to look polite, friendly, and positive. Sometimes we smile because we genuinely feel happy. Other times, we smile because it's socially expected. The face is often performing long before the heart agrees. Here's one behavior almost everyone has experienced. You're reading a message. You know exactly what you want to reply, but instead, you type, delete, type again, delete again. Suddenly, a two-line message takes 5 minutes. Why? Because you're not only thinking about what you want to say, you're imagining how the other person will interpret every single word. Your brain is predicting reactions before they even happen. It's a tiny example of how deeply humans care about social acceptance. Now let's talk about something even more interesting. Have you ever yawned immediately after seeing someone else yawn? Or even after hearing the word yawn? If you're yawning right now, that's actually proving the point. Scientists believe contagious yawning may be connected to empathy. The more emotionally connected we feel with others, the more likely we are to unconsciously copy certain behaviors. Humans are natural imitators, and we usually don't even realize we're doing it. Speaking of copying, have you noticed that close friends slowly begin using the same words, the same jokes, and sometimes even the same laugh? Spend enough time with someone, and your brain starts syncing with theirs. This unconscious imitation helps build trust and connection. Without trying, we slowly become a little more like the people we spend the most time with. Maybe that's why parents eventually start saying the exact same phrases they once promised they'd never use. Life has a funny sense of humor. Now here's one that surprises many people. Have you ever replayed an awkward moment from years ago? Right before going to sleep? Maybe you waved at someone who wasn't waving at you, called your teacher mom, or confidently pushed a door that clearly... Our brains constantly look to other people to decide how we should react. It's one reason audiences laugh more in movie theaters than when watching the same movie alone. Emotions are surprisingly contagious. Finally, here's perhaps the most important hidden behavior of all. Most people spend their lives assuming everyone is paying attention to them. They worry about how they look, what they said, whether they sounded awkward, whether someone noticed that tiny mistake. But the truth is, almost everyone else is too busy worrying about themselves. Psychologists sometimes call this the spotlight effect. We naturally overestimate how much other people notice us. In reality, everyone is carrying their own invisible worries, replaying their own conversations, and wondering what others think of them. It's oddly comforting when you realize you're not the center of everyone else's attention. You have more freedom than you think. So the next time you catch yourself checking your phone for no reason, replaying an old embarrassment, copying someone's laugh, or smiling when you're secretly exhausted, don't judge yourself. Remember that your brain is constantly working behind the scenes, using habits it has built over years to help you navigate the world. Some of those habits protect you, some connect you with others, and some simply remind you that being human is wonderfully strange. The more you understand these hidden behaviors, the more you begin to understand yourself. And maybe that's the most fascinating mystery of all. If you discovered at least one behavior you've been doing without realizing it, then today you learned something new about your own mind. After all, the biggest secrets aren't always hidden from the world. Sometimes they're hidden inside us.